about Drake? Can we just jump right into this?
Oh, we're
Drake
gonna just jump right into that.
Kendrick
You're like, I don't know how
thing?
much time we got. We gotta talk about Drake.
First of all, because remember when I said to you on this podcast, the internet will never make me not like Drake. Remember I said that?
Not like Drake?
No, Drake made me not like Drake.
Ooh.
Drake made me
Because
not
of the
like Drake.
lawsuit?
Because of the lawsuit.
You feel like he's being a sore loser?
So remember when Mos Def put that video out that said, when the question was asked, is Drake hip hop or something like that?
Oh, yes, I do.
I remember when that was going viral, and I would argue with people at the radio station. Like, what do you mean Drake isn't hip hop? Drake isn't culture? What do you mean? Like, blah, 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 blah. With this lawsuit that Drake filed with UMG, claiming that bots were paid for Spotify
Right.
and radio was paid to boost
Right.
and make the song popular, with that lawsuit, that made me realize that Drake does not understand culture. And I may have been wrong about Drake all these years. Because Not Like Us was such a cultural hit.
Yeah.
And was a soundtrack to a whole coast. You cannot buy those. You cannot inflate that. You cannot buy that. And for me, it was like a light bulb went off in my head that said, oh, perhaps he does not understand culture.
Well, he's from Canada.
But this is coming from the biggest Drake fan.
You love
And
Drake?
I've said on this podcast time and time again, when he lost the battle, which I agreed he
Right.
did lose,
Right.
I said, but the internet will still not make me
Not like
Drake. I'm still going to his concert. I'm still listening to his music. But that lawsuit is super corny. And the same tricks that UMG, you're claiming
Right.
UMG did, is the same tricks that they did for you.
Well, that's...
Oh, and let me go on and say,
Okay, she's pissed at Drake, y'all.
if you're
She's really
talking
pissed
about defamation of character, and because they could have not let the song go
Right.
out, well, they couldn't have let your song go out. You talked about that man being a woman beater.
Yeah, he said a
You
lot.
talked about that man's child not being his, but being his man's child. You didn't see Whitney going out there filing lawsuits against you. You're the biggest pop star in the world, worth $1 billion. And if anybody had a lawsuit, it's her, because you threw her right into the fire. Just like Jay-Z threw Nas's baby mama in the fire when he talked about condoms being left on the baby seat when they were in the rap beef.
Yeah, it was foul.
Everything comes out when you're in a rap beef. That's why you have to be prepared.
Yeah.
When Nicki Minaj and Remy had their rap beef, Remy took it all the way there with her brother and all of this stuff.
Right.
So it's like, if you're not prepared to battle, do not get in the ring. And I've always said on this podcast, I respected Drake for knuckling up and putting the gloves on, because I didn't even think he had it in him to do that. So I respected him for getting in the ring, but now I'm like, yo, you're corny for that.
So he really, I could see he really pissed you off with this
He
lawsuit.
did.
I'm
He
like,
pissed me off
Titi
because it's
mad
like,
at
yo.
Drake, yeah. Especially because you was defending him.
I was defending him, and it's like, yo, you're calling foul play as if they didn't do the same thing for you.
Yeah.
Like, you're a sore loser. You're being a sore loser. And you have never shown me that you could be out-strategized. And you were out-strategized every step of the way. You blew your load too quickly. You shot all of that ammunition. You was baiting him. You was baiting him on social. You was tagging his family. You brought his family into the mix. Bro, you didn't think he was going to come for your head top?
Yeah.
And Kendrick is a real rapper.
Yeah.
And is culturally in tune. and you mad and squabble up. Bro, if you think Not Like Us was a hit, Squabble Up is going crazy culturally right now. All the kids on Matthew's basketball team is doing the Squabble Up dance coming out.
It's a West Coast takeover right now.
It's like, you're corny. You're corny for that, bro.
Oh, man.
And that's all I'm going to say about it is,
you really jumped off the Drake wagon. You really jumped off. You were like, see ya.
The lawsuit did it for me.
Yeah, I see.
Because it made me think like, oh, bro, you're really not tapped into culture. Like, yo, take your L like a man. When you lose a rap battle, take your L like a man.
But I like that you brought up this conversation starting with the Mos Def video, because that was a conversation back then and people were arguing it back and forth. And one of the things I've always said is, and I stand by this, right? I've never, because Drake is super talented to me, super talented, but I've never seen in hip hop an artist as corny as Drake, because to me, this is consistent with the corny. This is consistent corny. See, to me, I've always looked at a lot of his moves as being corny. And people have debated me, but come on, Kim. I'm like, nah, like he makes a lot of corny decisions when it comes to his career. So when I saw the lawsuit, I said, oh, this is corny consistency, because this is what he's been doing. Now, I will say this about the lawsuit. If he had not lost the battle, if this wasn't a sore loser move, I would have respected the lawsuit more, because the allegations in the lawsuit are something that need to be brought to light, right? And I think that we all have heard about the bots and, you know, how just having a lot of money and control and the machine behind an artist can really push an artist with the power that it has to put money behind bots and things like that, and these farms that they have where they're like boosting the streams. So I feel like that piece of it is a good conversation to have, for us to start these conversations and have it, because there's a lot of independent, struggling artists who don't get the same opportunities just by not having the right people.
But
there.
let's keep it.
But I think the motivation, I'm just gonna say, I think the motivation behind why he did what he did was corny, consistent corny, because that's Drake always, and he's going to be called out for it. And I also think that he's going to lose, I mean, he is losing a lot of respect, but it hasn't affected his bottom line yet. And I feel like it will eventually. But right now they're saying Drake's streams are still up, like that it hasn't affected his music. So I believe that it will, and I think that his longevity will be affected by this, but I'm not seeing that
But you
yet.
have to ask what is important to Drake. And what I'm seeing now with Drake and what I'm seeing now with this battle is he wants to be respected as an MC.
Of course.
And no money can buy that.
Not at all.
And I really think that he entered into this battle with Kendrick thinking
He would get respect, more
that
respect.
he would get that I'm a rapper MC. Because let me tell you one thing about this culture. Everyone wants the crown.
Yeah.
Everyone who's a rapper wants to be respected as a true MC. Drake has never had that respect. Everybody always debates his albums. Does he have a Nas Illmatic?
Mm-hmm.
Does he have a J Reasonable Doubt? Does he have a Biggie? Everybody debates whether or not Drake has ever made a classic hip hop album. And I think that's more important to him than his bottom dollar, is to have that respect. And when he lost that battle, it took that from him. Because he is never going to be talked about as the greatest of all time MC.
Well, I don't think Drake was ever going for that spot. Like, I will say this, because
I think
he's
so.
He's
I
an
think
emo
he was.
rapper, right? So like,
I don't think he sees himself as that, Kim.
he's an emo rapper.
I don't think he sees himself like that. I think he sees himself as like, I'm the greatest. I'm the chart topper. I'm the biggest. I'm the biggest MC.
He's never really had that sort of MC moment to me. Right now, I think he's great. Like I said, I think he's talented. I think even lyrically, like, and songwriting, all of that. But obviously there's the argument of like, oh, he has ghostwriters. But still, as an artist, I feel like the talent is there. But not in the way where we would ever put Drake up against a Jay or a Nas or
But I think he wants that.
But you can't.
I think he wants that respect.
Because like Kendrick, you can put Kendrick in the same sentence as Jay, Nas. You know, like.
But you're proving my point, Kim.
Yeah,
that's why he went.
I don't think he thought that.
Kim,
You think he thought he was in that lane?
That's why he jumped into that ring, because he thought that he could stand toe to toe with Kendrick in that battle and be amongst the greatest MCs. And he got washed.
He did get washed. I never thought he was in the greatest MCs. Greatest artists.
Now listen, he had some great punchlines.
He was good.
He was good. But you also have to remember, in hip hop, when you're in a battle, you also have to understand strategy and when to shoot your shot.
And when he shot his low too early.
I don't think he was prepared for those missiles that Kendrick had.
Nah, he wasn't.
When that Not Like Us hit, it was like Nas ether.
Yeah, it was
a cultural movement. Nas ether, when that record hit in the clubs, it was like, oh.
I remember, I was there, but you know what I find interesting? 20 years later, 21, 2 years later, they don't play ether anymore. You have to sneak ether. Happy birthday to Jay-Z, it's his birthday today. You have to sneak ether. You cannot play ether anymore. You will not hear a radio station play ether. Like,
I don't know, because we play it.
Y'all play ether?
We play it. We play it all the time. We play it all the time, especially when we're talking about battles. We play it all the time.
It feels like ether was erased, and if you weren't there, you had to be there.
Nah, I don't think it was ever erased. Even with Sheetha, Remy Ma took the sample from
No, I
Ether.
know, but that's for us hip-hop heads. We know.
Nah, I think the kids know.
We know.
The kids know about Ether. I know my son knows about Ether. Like, when there's a battle, Ether is definitely talked about in that battle.
Okay. I feel like there was something done, because Ether was such a big moment. It was such a crowning moment of like, I won this.
But that's what Kendrick's Not Like Us was. It was Kendrick's moment of like, here you go. Crown, put it on your head. You won that. You won that battle. You can't deny he didn't win that battle. And I said on this podcast before, just because Kendrick won doesn't mean I'm not going to like Drake.
Right.
I've said that.
Right.
I've said that. Because, I really felt like, he still got bobs. He's still a good artist. But now I'm like, yo, you're a sore loser. You're corny. You got outbeat. You got out-strategized. And now you're crying. And the same tricks that you're crying about were the same tricks that were being done on you. You're the biggest artist on UMG. You don't think they're going to protect their asset?
Of course. So, and listen, this is just me playing devil's advocate.
But what he should have done is he should have just went in the booth, Kim, and just put out a massive bop.
Yeah.
But what happens
is... what he does. He should have did what he does.
But what happens when they lose battles and someone says something that hits them to their core, it's hard for them to get it out their head. It's like an athlete who gets dunked on, and then that clip goes so massive, and that athlete has to like go back and retrain, like, I just got smashed.
Right.
How did that happen to me? I'm the greatest, and somebody smashed on me like that. It starts to get in their head play. So when they're in the studio, because I've been around this type of battles, I've been in the trenches of this. I know when that shot hits them in that chest, and they know whatever that person said hit them like that, you start to see them spiral.
Right.
And you and I have been in this game long enough to see it and to be around it to know, oh, he triggered you.
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly affected by it.
And then you see, oh, he's at the Super Bowl. You see Wayne saying this, and you see his GNX album drop. It's #1 on Billboard.
Oh, I think GNX is crazy, by the way. I love it.
It's amazing.
Devil's advocate here. What about the accusation in the rap? And I already, I've talked about this a lot. I want to know what you think. That Kendrick made the pedophile statement. So now this is what I think Drake or his lawyers or they're getting at in terms of defamation, right? Because is it I definitely feel like it's a battle, go for it. It's whatever. You gotta, whatever gets said, even if it's foul, right? I hate when they drag the women in it. I hate that. But it's a battle, it's gonna happen.
But your man's,
the pedophile
but
thing.
your man's who is in your crew, who Kendrick's referring to, has paperwork on him. That's in the paperwork. So it is up for battle.
Right.
But you calling this man a woman beater.
Yeah, he did.
You're calling him a woman beater. You're saying that this man's child, whom he goes home to every night, is not his real father.
So you think everything is like, it is what it is. It's a battle. Say what you want to say.
Because
Call me a pedophile.
Because it can't be okay for you.
And then not okay
and
for
then
him.
not okay for him.
Right.
Like you said some crazy things about him. And his kids got to grow up.
He's just being a sore loser.
Right.
He's just being a sore loser.
And
it's fine.
And his kids have got to grow up and listen to like, yo, Pops, you're not really my dad. Like, what's that about? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's crazy.
Imagine, Mom, did you really cheat with Dave E? Did you really cheat with Dave Free?
Right. That's horrible. That's
so,
horrible.
like, why is it okay for you to say crazy things about him, but it's not okay for him to say crazy things about you?